Hi, and welcome to Window Cleaning Dude. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to count windows for your window cleaning business. So if you're new to starting window cleaning, which I assume you are, since this channel is primarily for new window cleaners, people who want to get into the business of window cleaning, one of the things we need to talk about is how to count windows. If you follow my method, for pricing windows, I talk about, which you can see in one of my other videos on pricing, is that I talk about how to charge by the window. That's my preferred method. If you want to follow my success pattern for your business to get to $100,000 or more a year in window cleaning, then I recommend that you do the flat rate method for charging per window. And so with that, you need to know how to count up the windows properly so that you can then quote your customer over the phone quickly what the price is going to be. Be sure to watch my video on pricing on how to determine how to charge per window and by the window. But like I said, in this video is primarily going to be about counting up the windows. So I'm just going to go over some of the basic window types. There are a lot of different window combinations out there. The first basic window type is the kind that just goes up and down. So a lot of windows will either pull up and down or they'll pull side to side. That's going to be one window. So it's two panes of glass, top and bottom pane, or both side panes. That's one window, side to side or up and down. The next window, common window, would just be one solid pane of glass that doesn't open. It's just a fixed pane. It's all by itself. Oftentimes you'll see this like in a bay window where you have the fixed pane in the middle and then you'll have two windows on the side. That middle window or that fixed pane is one window. So if it is, let's say, a bay window, then you're looking at one window, two, three. You know, that's typically a bay window. And on the bay windows, they might be fixed panes on the side or they might pull up and down. But either way, one, two, three, that's three windows. If they have a skylight is going to be one window. If they have what's called a louvered window is, it's kind of like a window made out of blinds, right? So like you can, on the inside, you can push this little thing on the side and it has all these little like maybe 4 to 6 inch long slats of glass. And as you push this little lever on the side, it opens up and allows the air to flow through and for you to see out, especially if they're like a frosted glass. Sometimes people have them frosted. That's a louvered window. You don't see those very often. They're like kind of an old school window that they don't make anymore, but occasionally you will come across those windows. That is one window, although on that particular window and on the skylights, I will actually charge more, so I wouldn't include that in my typical window lineup. That's something I guess we should talk about more, is that with skylights and louvered windows, even though they are one window, you probably want to charge them as though they were two, because they're a lot more time intensive to clean. Back to just your standard window, however, a sliding glass door is another good example to talk about. With a sliding glass door, even though it pulls side to side and it is two panes, because it's so large, I will charge that as two windows. So each panel of a sliding glass door is one window. And if you end up cleaning a mansion, a lot of times people with very expensive homes will have specialty sliding glass doors where I've seen it where they have anywhere from 4 to 8 panels. And so maybe 4 will pull this way and 4 will pull that way. So they have this huge, basically like an entire wall opening up to the outside. Each one of those panels is going to be one window. I've also cleaned mansions where they had extremely large 2-panel sliding glass doors to where each one of the panels to the door is the equivalent of 2 to 3 panels of a regular home. So a home sliding glass door. So you might charge, 6 times the amount on something large like that. Those are rare exceptions that, you're just going to have to deal with at that time if you come across that, which typically won't happen with you just now starting out in window cleaning. That's something that's going to happen probably several years down the road as you become known in your community as a professional and people start seeking you out. As far as other window types, you have, let's say, windows on a garage door. You have the smaller panes. A lot of times I will bundle those to be like 1 or 2 windows. And then sometimes people will have small little 1x1 windows in their house and I might bundle those. But overall, the main windows are like the fixed pane, the up and down, the side to side, and the sliding glass doors. Those are all one window. And then, except for the sliding glass door, which are 2. And then if they have a French pane window, then you're going to want to charge more for French pane. That's also going to be like one window, but because you're dealing with all the little, if you see French pane, a true French pane will actually have framing on the outside of the glass, making the little crisscross pattern Sometimes it's diagonal, which I like to call the devil's pane because it's a pane. It's like the worst French pane ever. You definitely want to charge a lot more money for these windows. I would charge double for French pane, and if it was the devil's pane where it's diagonal, where every time you squeegee it's just going to run down in these little things, I would charge even more just to make it worth your while. Now there's also glass blocks. You know, sometimes people build homes with these glass blocks that kind of act like windows. They let light through, but you can't really see through them too well. People do like to get those cleaned, and so just depending on how big it is, you know, you're going to have to figure out what's going to be a good price. But typically, you know, if it's just like the size of a window, well then charge it as one window. If the glass blocks cover the size of several windows, and try to figure out in your mind how I'm going to break that up and then charge equivalent, because with the glass blocks it's also very time consuming. You can't just wash it with your washing wand and then get out your squeegee. They're often curved. They're usually like only 6 inches wide sometimes, and then they got all the masonry. So you're actually going to just be scrubbing those suckers with rags and then getting your detail rag and wiping them off. I mean, it's a pain to clean glass blocks, so make it worth your while. So that's pretty much how I count out my windows, is based on what I just talked about. My method of charging by the window is that I like to just have a flat rate. So I'm just going to look at windows, whether it's on a first story or a second story or a third story. I'm not going to charge additional for the second or third story. It's just, this is how many windows they have, here's my price. Other window cleaners like to charge more for each additional story. So even though they're counting up the windows, they're going to charge a little differently. But if you follow my method, it's all just a flat rate. Doesn't matter how many windows you have, doesn't matter how big or small they are, unless of course you're going to be bundling some of those ones, some of those circumstances that I just talked about. You might do some bundling, but you don't necessarily have to. It's up to you. I mean, if you really want to follow the flat rate rule, then you wouldn't even bundle. You'd just be like, well, I know these are small, but you also have all these large ones, and so it kind of equals out, and you can explain that to your customer if they have an issue with that. Typically, I won't bundle unless the customer does have an issue, so I will just count up the windows and be like, here's your price. And so unless they start complaining, then at that point you might be like, okay, you know, I get it, you got a lot of these little tiny windows and that adds up really quickly, so I'll go ahead and bundle just to be nice and to make sure the customer's happy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always better to have a happy customer, because then they're going to refer you to other jobs, and it's just better all around. You know, they're gonna have you as a repeat. They're gonna call you back. They're just gonna be ecstatic that, you know, you were willing to work with them and give them a little slack. So that's always nice. So that's pretty much it for counting up windows. If you want to learn more, go to windowcleaningdude.com. I go over this stuff in greater detail there. Also, if you like this video, please give me the thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you want to be part of the window cleaning community here, and also to show YouTube that you do find these videos have value. Also, please hit the notification bell if you want to know more about upcoming videos coming out, to be notified of that. And please comment down below on anything else that you want to talk about or know about, or something that I missed. And I will see you in the next episode.